everybody, it's EK from EK Gorman Designs, and I am sneaking in here today with a super easy, super cheap card to show you. Actually, it's not just one card, it's 8 cards, and I'm using this HunkyDory Raise a Glass Luxurious Topper Set. It is the Sparkle and Shine collection from HunkyDory, and it is shiny. The whole thing is heavy set cardstock, and it's super thick. And it's got these punch outs included in it and 2 pieces of metallic, for lack of a better word, sheets. So I punched everything out from the punch out sheet, from the ephemera sheet, and realized that these 2 pieces here would actually make great pieces of ephemera if I just trim them up properly. The rest got thrown away. And then I had a couple scraps because I wasn't really certain what I'm doing, because I think if you know me by now, you know I don't ever really go in with a big plan. I just start playing and see what happens. And then I cut down these large panel sheets. I cut several of them to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and then just kind of had what else left over. And I figured I would figure out exactly how to use this set. So I trimmed up a bunch of white cardstock. You can use pre-made cards, frankly. And I pulled out some double-sided adhesive. I used the double-sided adhesive because this cardstock is so thick, I really wanted to make sure I adhered it. I laid down one of the background pieces and then simply pulled a piece of ephemera out, grabbed a little bit of dimensional tape, and popped it up. Now, that's it. You'll see in the end I pull all 8 cards back out and add a little more sparkle and shine to them because I thought they needed just a little bit more to make it simple. But that's it. I'm finding a great background and then popping up a piece of ephemera. And yet they're not boring, they're not awful, they're not dull, they're not fill in any of the blanks. You can get 8 cards for very minimal work. Cards that your friends and family would truly enjoy getting. And you're not spending an arm and leg. Over at White Rose Crafts, you can currently get this set and several others for $3. That's it. Add in a roll of double-sided adhesive that you can use on multiple projects, a little 3-dimensional tape, and a package of sequins. You can have a collection of really cool cards. Cards that you can have in a pinch. Some of these have no sentiment. Some of them just simply say happy birthday. Some of them say, one of them at least says congratulations. There's a sentiment on one of them that's like friendship. This one says with love. So yeah, it was totally... Everybody always says card making has to be expensive, or card making has to take all day. Like, I only made this card in an hour. Well, I made 8 cards in less than an hour, so card making can sometimes just be about card making. And again, here you see me just trying to figure out what to do because I don't come in with a plan. I wish I could be one of those people that sat down and like planned out my projects and had it perfectly mapped out so that when I sat down and videotaped it, you got the best version of me. What you get is the authentic version of me. This is what it looks like when I legitimately create. I don't pre-plan, I don't pre-make, I just go to town. And that's who I am. I know there are people who can pre-plan and I admire them. I'm just not one of them. For this card, I grabbed one of those bits of scrap that I had and dropped it down, and I just love how that card came out. It's probably my favorite of this 8-piece collection. I know I'm not supposed to have favorites, but I do because I am human, and sometimes you do like one of your children better than the others. You just don't tell the others, and that's what makes you a good parent. You don't inform them when you don't like them. You always love them. You don't always like them. And that's how it is with card making. I almost always like the cards I make, but there are ones that stand out that I'm like, this one's really cool. This one I thought was fun because I pulled out that frame. One of the pieces punches out into 3 pieces, and I think you're supposed to, like, I don't know, you're supposed to use all 3 of them together, and I instead pulled it out and circled the cup with it and added the congratulations sentiment, and really liked what I was doing. This big piece definitely didn't need a background. It filled up the card frame all on its own. And if you watch really carefully, you'll see it's crooked. I mean, really crooked. Hideously crooked. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'll add a long sentiment and I'll make it not look crooked. I then put the sentiment on crooked. So, proof that I'm not perfect, Ding, 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 ding. Proof that I don't plan things out well. Right here. I had seriously given consideration of pulling out some colored cardstock and backing all of this with colored cardstock. But there's such a vibrant, reflective color to these cards, or to this paper set, this collection here, that why would you want to ruin it with matte cardstock? So I let the white and it worked for me. I've run out of the big pieces that I cut. So I've now started looking at kind of the leftover smaller pieces and seeing how I can combine them to make cards, because I had a couple more pieces of ephemera left that I wanted to make sure I used. So for this one, I just took a piece of the purple and a piece of the orange cardstock and layered them over one another. You'll see that this card isn't done when I set it aside. I think it's done when I set it aside. I'm like, okay, it was a good card. I like it. We're done. I put the birthday sentiment on. Many of my friends drink cocktails, so these are perfect birthday cards for me. And I just set it aside. However, you'll notice in a minute I pull it back out for a very good reason. For this last card, I took two of the very sparkly pieces and just layered them on top of each other. But I had that weird line, that like demarcation line that wasn't in any way, shape, or form going to blend into itself. So I'm pausing because I thought I was there where I pulled the thing out, but it wasn't. So I took the happy birthday sentiment, trimmed it up so it was nice and neat, added a little bit of three-dimensional tape, and used the sentiment to blend that weird demarcation line. And now the line doesn't look weird, especially when I laid it down, straight. I had two little pieces of ephemera left, and I figured if I put one on each side of the birthday sentiment, I could call the job done. And it worked. There was one, and there was the other. So I was done, and I realized I had those things that I painstakingly trimmed up to use, so I was going to use it. So I pulled out my glue and popped it over. Now remember, I popped up the glasses, the cocktail glasses, with three-dimensional tape. So this is actually flat underneath it, and I actually like the card significantly better. This is it. That is all that I had left from my paper. And I'm just going to set them aside and save them for another day when I need something special, because this background paper really is special. I did decide the cards needed a little something more, a je ne sais quoi. So I pulled out some conversation hearts from the February release of Doodle's Paper Playground Sparkle Blend Sequins, knowing that the colors were going to be about right. There was a lot of bold burnt oranges and reds, and if I added a couple of the sequins to it, then I was going to end up with cards that really looked like I spent a lot of time, but in reality was quick, easy, and pretty thoughtless. Thoughtless? No, that's not the word I want. Didn't take a lot of mental fortitude? That might be what I meant. Not thoughtless, because when I give a card, I really think about who I'm giving it to. So there's the second one, and that one was just 5 sequins. You can see they're glittery sequins in themselves. This is the card that's crooked. Oh, so very crooked. So I tried to correct the weight of the card with my sequins. I think I managed to do it in the end, just by being heavy in one spot of the card and light in others. I think I was, in fact, able to correct the... Yeah. You'll notice in my pictures, I couldn't get the glare out. No matter how hard I tried to photograph these cards, the glare is there. They are that kind of reflective. They are super shiny reflective. I think if I went outside on a cloudy day, I would still have shine and reflection coming off these cards, because that's how they are. I like this one. I started digging through the Sparkle Blend pack and realized there were a collection of 4 different oranges, and yeah, it worked for me. I found 2 little hearts, and I don't know if you're not familiar with the Sparkle Blend sequin packs from Doodle's Paper Playground, you need to check them out. Every pack is limited edition. When the pack sells out, they're gone for good. So if you ever see one you think is really awesome, you have to buy it then, because there's no guaranteeing it will ever be there again. And right now, White Rose Crafts is the exclusive vendor for Sparkle Blends. So, yay, that's always fun. This was a set that was released, like I said, in February, I believe, and it was released with the idea of Valentine's Day. However, you can use hearts year round. This last one I decided didn't need any sequins, so I left it just as was. Thanks for popping. I was going to try to combine the word peeking and popping. Thanks for popping in today and checking out the super easy card with this super cohesive set. Let me know in the comments below which of the 8 cards was your favorite. And until then, happy crafting.